Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 favorite short books. So yeah, short books, that's pretty self-explanatory, I think. That's what this whole video is going to be. It's just going to be 5 books that I really enjoy, but not only do I enjoy them, on the plus side, they're also very, very short. So I managed to go around my room. My goal was to try and look for books that were under 300 pages, because to me that's what a short book is. Anything that's under 300 pages pretty much, because I consider like an average book to be around 300 to 500, and then a large book to be 500 plus. So I managed to find 5 books that are all under 300 pages, and I think as readers we all appreciate a good book that's really short, you know, but also not only being short, but you know, being able to tell a very tight focused story within those parameters, you know, because there are some books it's like 300 pages is not enough. And sometimes you need those much longer, lengthier books in order to tell a really compelling story. So I think it's really talented if an author can tell a tight story in under 300 pages. And I think the 5 that I've picked are examples of books that tell very compelling stories in a very short amount of time. So let's get going. At number 5, I have this version of Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro and Cornelia Funk, and this is pretty much book format of the movie that Guillermo del Toro directed, Pan's Labyrinth. This book comes in at 256 pages, which is kind of unbelievable, you guys. So, if you've never seen the movie, but you might be interested in this book, what Pan's Labyrinth is about, it's about a little girl and her mom who are living in Spain, and they're going to the Spanish countryside during World War II to go live with the little girl, her new stepfather, essentially. Her new stepfather, who is an evil bastard. And yeah, this whole thing, like I said, it takes place during World War II in the Spanish countryside, and the whole story is this little girl trying to cope with the horrors of the war and the horrors of her new stepfather, who's, like I said, is an evil bastard. And yeah, there's a lot of magical realism to this, and this little girl, she goes into like this labyrinth or maze or whatever, and she encounters this faun who essentially is telling her she's this long lost princess, and it's this little girl's journey to discover her identity and who she is, if she is this long lost princess, and yeah, kind of just creating this fantasy world essentially to escape the horrors of the war. And yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is just a beautiful book, guys. This edition of it not only does it have a gorgeous cover, but yeah, just even the inside, there's like some pictures inside, and all of the pages are like surrounded by like trees and everything. And yeah, if you like the movie, this is a great like format to revisit the movie in. And yeah, under 300 pages, you can just fly through it. At number 4, I have Austenland by Shannon Hale, and this book comes in at 194 pages. Yeah, when I picked this book up, you guys, I was like, 194 pages? I can swear this book was a little bit longer, because it seems like there's a lot that happens in this book, and it almost seems like that all doesn't fit in here, but I guess it does. If you don't know what Austenland is about, it's about this, it takes place in a contemporary setting. It's about this woman, she's just kind of fed up with some things that are going on in her life, some personal things, and she loves all things Jane Austen. And it's kind of a running joke in here, she especially loves actor Colin Firth's adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, which I think was maybe released back in 1995, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, she loves all things Jane Austen, but she especially loves Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. And she travels to this place called Austenland. She's going to this place to try and escape from her modern day life, and Austenland is like this it's like this resort essentially. I'm trying how to best describe it. It's like this resort where you come to this place, you give up all of your modern conveniences, like you're not allowed to have your cell phone or computer or anything. You are legitimately getting rid of all your modern day conveniences, and you are fully enmeshed into the world of Jane Austen. And you get to dress up like how they did in the Regency era. You learn manners and etiquette like they did back in that time period. And there's like actors there. There's like actors there as well who are kind of interacting with the guests who are there. And you can kind of have like a romance off to the side with like someone who's maybe like Mr. Darcy or something, you know. It's a very silly, over-the-top book, but it plays on those feelings, you know. It plays on those feelings that I think a lot of women have, like you read a Jane Austen novel and then you look at modern day men, and modern day men just do not compare to the men of Jane Austen's books, you know. And that's kind of what this book plays with, is kind of this woman's journey, you know. Is this fantasy world of Jane Austen that she's trying to escape into, is this really the real world for her, or does she eventually appreciate her real world, you know? And it's such a really fun, quirky, silly book. And yeah, if you love all things Jane Austen, I definitely recommend this, since it is a very short book. At number 3, I have The Kitchen Boy by Robert Alexander, and this book comes in at 229 pages, you guys. And this book is historical fiction, and it's essentially retelling kind of like that final year or so of the imprisonment of the last Tsar of Russia, Tsar Nicholas II, and his family, his wife, his daughters, and his son, their imprisonment, and then ultimately their execution and whatnot. And the book is called The Kitchen Boy, as I just said, and it is the events of the book are being told through the point of view of this kitchen boy. And this is such a great book, you guys. This is such a great book. It's very emotional, since it does highly focus on the imprisonment of Tsar Nicholas II and his family, and then I'll go ahead and give this isn't really a spoiler, is it? I mean, everybody knows the ending of their story. I mean, it does go into very great depth, their execution. It's really horrific, and I remember the first time I read this book, it actually caused me to cry. I really cried quite badly at the end of this book, because it's quite graphic and brutal, because it goes into detail with their execution. And it's such a very beautiful book. It does have like a massive, like, kind of twist ending, I guess I'll say. Something's kind of revealed that's like, huh. So yeah, if you love historical fiction, especially short historical fiction, because when it comes to historical fiction, a lot of times it tends to be a very lengthy genre when it comes to page count. So yeah, this is a really nice piece of historical fiction that's very short. At number 2, I have a piece of non-fiction here, and it is Night by Elie Wiesel, coming in at, it's very short, 109. Yeah, this is just a little past 100 pages. Like I just mentioned, this is non-fiction. This is about Elie Wiesel, who is recounting his story from World War II, essentially, and his time in various different concentration camps. And the first time I read this book, I read it in high school for the first time for one of my English classes, and this book, this is just one of the most emotional and heartbreaking books you'll ever read in your life, I feel like. It's not meant to be pleasant by any means. I mean, Elie Wiesel, he goes into great depth and detail about his experiences and his feelings, and just everything about World War II, essentially. Even though this is just an emotionally draining book, I mean, the way it ends, I mean, there is kind of this sense of light at the end of the tunnel, you know? as far as Holocaust fiction goes, I mean, I feel like this and, you know, The Diary of Anne Frank, I mean, I feel like as far as Holocaust fiction goes, this is like a must for people, especially like if you're trying to get the younger readers into the Holocaust and try to teach them the Holocaust and what happened. You know, this is definitely a must for, I think, younger readers. And at number one, my all-time favorite short book is City of Thieves by David Benioff, and this comes in at 258 pages. So, what you need to know about this book, it is historical fiction taking place during World War II, during the siege of Leningrad in Russia. And this is about two guys who have been imprisoned for various different means, and these two guys are given this mission by this, like, general or something. What is he? Yeah, Soviet colonel. These two guys are given this mission by this Soviet colonel to go collect a dozen eggs, you guys. They need to go get a dozen eggs because his daughter, this colonel, his daughter is about to get married and she needs a wedding cake during the siege of Leningrad. You guys, this stupid woman needs a cake. So these two young guys, they're tasked to go, just go get these eggs. They gotta find them because, yeah, like I said, it's during this terrible siege, and during this siege, yeah, there was severe rationing going on, severe shortages of food. So yeah, it's kind of like, well, where in the hell are you going to get eggs? And that's this whole book, you guys. It's these guys who just, they don't want to do this, but they need to. They gotta go get these eggs for this stupid ass cake. And it's their journey of kind of bonding, and it's kind of a coming of age story. And considering this is World War II during the siege of Leningrad, you think this would be really dark and gloomy, but it's actually a very quirky, silly, humorous book, which I kind of appreciated. It kind of added some levity to the dark things going on in the background. And I just love this book, you guys. It was just so great, very engaging and compelling, and it tells a very good story in under 300 pages, which I wasn't expecting. You know, when I saw the page count, I was like, there's no way this story can be told in under 300 pages, but David Benioff manages to do it, and it was great from start to finish. I absolutely loved it, and I highly recommend this if you've not read it already. So you guys, that is it for this top 5 with my favorite short books. In the comments below, what short books do you guys like? Or do you not like short books? Do you prefer average to longer books? I like a healthy dose of everything. I like short, medium, and long books because it's always good to kind of have the nice balance of all three. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions about short books and which ones are your favorites. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.